Do you speak African? Well, neither do the 1.1 billion people in Africa.
There's no reason the nation of Africa cannot and should not join the ranks of the world's most prosperous nations.
It's not actually a country. It's a continent of 54 very different nations and more than 2,000 languages. But it's constantly misunderstood or misrepresented. Any mention these days of what was once called the Dark Continent conjures up lazy images of war, famine, corruption, or disease. Who has time to mention the 22 Nobel laureates from 9 different African countries, right? And guess where 4 of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world are located? Not in Europe. Yep, they're in Africa, which of course has issues with poverty and inequality. But let's not forget that 1 in 3 Africans is middle class, and the continent is one of the fastest growing markets in the world for mobile phones. And guess which one of these 2 places is in Africa? Wrong. But all this growth comes from foreign aid, right? That's where most of the money comes from, surely. From Western handouts. Nope, not true. In fact, foreign aid represents only 2% of Africa's total GDP. In 2010, Africans living outside of Africa sent more cash back to their families at home than the rest of the entire world provided to the continent in foreign aid. How about the plight of poor African women? Well, the continent has had 7 female presidents. The United States? Still waiting, I'm afraid. Meanwhile, Rwanda has the highest proportion of female parliamentarians in the world, 64%. Over in the UK Parliament, it's a record 29%. But you know what? It's important that we focus only on the doom and gloom across the continent, because every 60 seconds in Africa, a minute passes by.
Okay, so this is 5 stereotypes about Africa that are completely 100% not true, and I'm tired of hearing these things, so let's go ahead and get it clear. Stereotype number 1, Africa is a country or a very, very small place. People don't realize that Africa is actually a continent. It's not one country. So you can never go up to someone and ask them, do they speak African? What is African? That doesn't make any sense. That's like saying, do you speak North American? For some reason, people assume that if you're from Africa and someone else is from Africa, you know each other. All the time, people will be like, oh, you're from Africa? Yeah, I know this girl from Nigeria. Do you know her? Africa is a huge continent. It's much bigger than North America. There's over 50 countries in Africa. Stereotype number 2, everyone in Africa is black. And when I say black, I'm referring to the actual color black, not the race. Believe it or not, there is every single skin color in Africa, from white all the way until black. The east side of Africa, Ethiopia, Sudan, Eritrea, all those countries, Somalia, you'll find pretty much every single skin tone. So we cannot sit here and try to think of Africans as having just one look or one language or one anything, because it's such a diverse place. Stereotype number 3, everyone in Africa is poor. The media really messed us up with this one. Like, every image in the media is just bad. You always see Africa and you always see poor people, people living in huts, people without any clothes that are hungry and taking a bath in the Nile River, and I don't know what. Believe it or not, there's actually cities in Africa. There's not just little huts everywhere. There's cities, there's metropolitan areas, there's transportation, there's buses, there's cars, there's internet, people have cell phones. Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, those are wealthy nations. Stereotype number 4, it's only hot in Africa. I'm not gonna lie, where I'm from, it is very, very, very hot. And you need that AC, otherwise you're not gonna survive. But no, not every single African country is hot. You have the Sahara Desert in the north, which those countries are gonna be hot and dry, but you have a whole bunch of different climates in every single part of Africa. You have rainforests, you have mountains, Mount Kilimanjaro, where it snows on the top. You have prairies, you have savannas. You have a lot of countries like Ethiopia, for example, where the temperature is really decent. It'll be like in the 70s, it'll get down to what, 50s, 40s, I don't know. But it's decent, you know, it's not like over 100 degrees like it is in my country. Number 5, this is the most ridiculous and annoying stereotype of them all. It's It's not safe to visit Africa. There's AIDS and Ebola and malaria and diseases and you can't go because you're gonna die. Can we stop with this? Really, can we stop? Africa is not unsafe to visit. There's a lot of people that go to Africa all the time. I've been to Africa many times. Nothing has ever happened to me. You know, I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm perfectly fine. Tourists go to Africa to visit just to see all of the beautiful things. So don't get it twisted, okay? It's not unsafe to visit Africa. Just stop. Stop with that. One more thing that I want to add, because this is funny more than anything. You guys, The Lion King is not real. I hate to break it to you. It's just a movie and it's made up. That's not how Africa really is. It's not like animals and lions are ruling the kingdom. We don't live outside with the animals and the lions and the monkeys. Next time somebody tells me, when you go to Africa, can you take a picture of a lion or a monkey? Most Africans would have to go to a zoo or a safari, just like here in the United States, to see wild animals. So anyways, those were the 5 stereotypes about Africa that I've heard my whole life that we have got to put an end to. It's 2016, guys. We gotta stop with this. Anyways, that's it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!